Just a few notes. It is actually 6:33 p.m. We are still looking for members to the commission. We have 1 full-time and 3 alternate positions open. So if anyone from the public is interested in serving on the commission, no experience necessary, just a desire to participate, see Becky Thompson in the town manager's office. The other thing I'd like to announce is that we will be meeting with the town council next Thursday, this coming Thursday, on the 14th, to do our annual meeting with the town council, something we do every January. And then our next meeting, this is the only meeting we have scheduled for January, so our next meeting is February the 1st, Monday. So that's all I have for announcements. Anyone have anything else? Okay. Public comment. I don't see anyone from the public commenting, so we have no appointments. So that brings us to our first agenda item, which is Fieldstone Land Consultants and Brett Vaughn Revocable Trust for a recommendation to the planning board for a 3-lot residential subdivision. So if you'd like to join us, I do ask that you sign. Yep, that works great. I do ask that you sign our sheet if you haven't. Yep. So, and then make sure the green light on that mic is bright green. If you push the push button.
There you go.
Okay, and then introduce yourself, because our minutes taker takes the minutes off the video. So.
Yep. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Chris Gaida. I'm a certified wetland scientist and soil scientist with Fieldstone Land Consultants, and I'm representing Sean Farrell, and he's looking to purchase the property from Mr. Vaughn, who owns it currently. And I don't know if it's better. I'm going to lose the microphone if I go up and display, or how do you? I can just pull it together.
You can pull it closer, yeah. We can slide the chair out of the way if you'd like. So. I'm not sure if you've seen these plans yet at all, but yeah. So we got.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got a letter that introduced the project, and then we've got this size plans.
Sure.
And I think we have a larger set here if we wanted to pass them around. So.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm just going to pass around a few photographs of the proposed crossing area. Yes, which is actually an existing crossing. You can see through the photographs that there's a well-traveled woods road that goes down there to access the property. There's an existing culvert in there, 15-inch culvert. So our proposal is essentially to cross at the same location. There's a culvert there already. It's already disturbed. It's the narrowest point. There might be a couple other spots with a little bit narrow, but given the location of the driveway and everything, right in there might be a little bit narrower. But once you start cutting and filling, you end up having larger impacts because you have to maintain a certain slope of the driveways, which I'll have a...
So both driveways, I know both driveways are close together, so they're both going to be on this access point here?
They are, yes. The crossing will have to get widened slightly to accommodate the 2 driveways.
But that's this first picture.
That's correct.
Okay. Yep.
So this one might be a little bit larger scale than this. So this obviously the bright fluorescent green is the wetland, so you can see it real well. This pink is the highlight. I highlighted the existing roadway that's going down there now. There's some other ones that spin off, but this is the main travelway that accesses the lot now. This dark greenish blue is the proposed impact area, additional impact area that's would have to be increased from the existing, which we're only talking 683 square feet. So it's pretty minor. The location is desirable as well because you can see from the topography that it does get fairly steep in sections of the lot. And as this existing driveway comes in, there's a flat spot here where it narrows down. This is flatter here. There's a culvert that basically feeds this wetland area. So this is the narrowest point, and then it gets steeper here. So what happens is if you're trying to cross here and maintain a certain grade, you end up filling farther down the hill to maintain that, whether it's a 3-to-1 slope or a 2-to-1 slope. So your impact ends up being much, much greater than if you're on a flatter area. You can see from these dark lines, these are the proposed grades, so it's still fairly steep. You know, within reason, it's 12% basically through here at the steepest section. And we're trying to follow the existing roadway. So most of it's about 5% through here is all 5%, but you know, this section right here, you kind of got to get down it. You know, here you'd be going up it, and then if we went higher, you still have to get down it over here. So the least impacting alternative really is to try to follow the existing roadway that's there. You know, back when it was put in by probably some old farmer, you know, they picked the easiest route. So usually they're pretty close. We did keep the roadway a little bit higher up in here to try to obviously minimize you know, any additional disturbance to the wetlands here. So that's pretty much most of it. There's a large, you know, there's one large lot here in the back, which I think you can see on this. So this is the large lot, basically, and then these two would be the new ones.
Okay.
So the large lot is existing?
The existing is, if you just, yeah, erase those, but the perimeter here, this, forgot to get here, but then around the outside.
That house is at the end of the lot, that long lot there.
So that's
Correct.
All three houses are proposed?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep, it's vacant land right now.
Great.
With the exception of there's like a cabin down here, which is one of the reasons why the road keeps getting maintained. So from going through the ordinance, it appears that, you know, I mean, accessing a piece of property, you can see that this, obviously the wetlands bisects the lot. You kind of have to cross it in order to get there within reason. I mean, you could cross it up in here. However, you know, the slopes are such that basically it's almost prohibitive to get a driveway that meets the town regulations and that's going to be safe, that can get you down there. So the least impacting alternative is really to follow the existing roadway down there, environmentally as well as financially. I mean, that's going to be our best choice. We are in the shoreland zone. I mean, it's way down here. Here's 250 feet. I apologize. I meant to highlight it, but I didn't. So this is a pretty large scale. It's a 100 scale plan, so it's a large lot.
Yeah, and you're outside the 100-foot flood zone as well?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought I saw that.
The 100-foot flood zone is it's this dark line right here.
Yeah.
It kind of follows this. There's like an oxbow in here. This green is the wet, and it's right in here. So, yep, all the proposed building is outside of that.
Building, sanitary, all that stuff is
Yep,
outside.
the yellow is the 4K
Sanitary.
areas,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, yep. And then the wells there are also with the radiuses on them. Is that what I saw there too?
Correct.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
So those all meet the requirements.
So why not a single driveway until you get past the wetland and then split?
Well, we did look at that. However, part of the problem with common driveways, you've probably run across it in the past, is you sell the lot, you know, you're great friends with the neighbor, and then they sell it to somebody else that maybe you're not great friends with. And then all of a sudden you have a maintenance issue on who's going to be plowing the driveways. And you can have easements. Obviously, you'd have some type of maintenance easement. Really, the purpose is, you know, I mean, when you have your own home or something that's, you know, going to be, you know, kind of set back in here, you kind of want to maintain a little bit greater sense of privacy and individual responsibility for the driveways. So that's really why. And if you had to do a common driveway here, it's really negligible as far as the amount of impact, because it has to be wider to maintain the two for a common driveway versus the two.
Yeah. Well, you
So
mean
it's
you'd have to allow traffic by both ways? Is that what
Right.
you're? Yeah. Okay.
So like I said, it's about just over 600 square feet additional impact. In this area, you can see from the photographs, it's really it's a palustrin forested wetland.
Yeah.
It's fairly stony in that area.
Okay.
It's mostly road runoff here and seeping out through the stones. It's not like it's not like down in here where you have a really big, very poorly drained wetland. It's a forested area, more like
Yeah.
a seasonal runoff. This area in here is even, has some channelization, but it's really springtime flow through some rocks.
Mhm.
I mean, the average person probably walking out there in the fall or late summer would never ever even slow down over there and think that it's wetlands. But we do have the 3 parameters, obviously, and
Yeah.
they're in effect all year long. So.
Yep.
There's a note on the plan that the proposed buildings, driveway is shown depict a potential layout for each lot, meeting local regulations. Final house and driveway placement is subject to change based on individual landowners' preference. So how much of what we're seeing can be changed?
Well, in order to change it, you could change, for example, this larger lot.
Yep.
I mean, if you didn't want to go all the way down here, someone could build, up in here, so they didn't have to travel quite same thing up in here. You could move your house location, over here or farther up, as long as it's obviously within the setbacks. Some folks, they may want to be, they may want to have a solar exposure and, orient their house that way. It's really one of those things you can't anticipate, when you're selling a piece of property. Depends on who buys it. Somebody might want a little camp, somebody might want a larger home.
Right. I'm particularly concerned about having the driveway locations.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at this right now and potentially approving it based on what we're seeing.
Yep.
So, when someone buys this property and does something with it, I mean, are they going to be bound to use, the access-wise that use this plan?
Unless they come back to the board and change something. Typically, the wetlands permits are valid for 5 years, and if you don't install it, and then it expires, and you have to go through the process over again.
And you haven't submitted a permit yet, have you?
No, there's an
No.
like I said, there's an existing one in there for that farm road that was in, it's been in long before
Mhm.
Mr. Vaughn owns it. It was, back whenever they put it in. So it's that access is grandfathered as far as the existing culvert that's in there. And we would have to file for a permit whether it were a single, like I said, even a single driveway with a single home in there, really to get something with enough width if you're going to plow snow,
Yeah.
and safety-wise that you're going to want a little bit wider width there. So you'd probably it's not a lot of impact, but you're talking maybe 5 or 10 feet extending the culvert, even if you were to just build a single home. So there would still most likely be a permit filed. So
Yeah.
to answer your question, if somebody wanted to, I mean, I can't imagine it, but just following the logic chain, if for some reason somebody wanted to come down through here, I mean, obviously that wouldn't be preferable to the board or the Wetlands Bureau or anybody. So, really this land does have a little bit of slope to it. So, environmentally and financially, really the way that it's proposed right now is going to be the least impacting, both environmentally and financially, because obviously the more soil moving you have to do, the more expensive it gets on the site work end of it. So yeah, I guess once this culvert gets installed, approved and installed or whatever, that would be the crossing point, and it'd be pretty darn hard to get a permit to cross there again if you already had one. Obviously it's avoidance if you can, and minimization and mitigation if you can't. So.
Yeah, so when it comes time for a permit, we'll see this again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, this is really kind of a preliminary, go through, and then when, assuming everything goes well with the planning board and the lot configuration and everything else that goes along with that, we would file the actual permit. So there's pictures there. Snow's not bad right now. So if anybody wanted to take a look out there.
Yes, so the sheet also shows a culvert much further down, closer to the home. It's on this one. It's sheet 1 of 3 for the proposed driveway for the lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's picking up basically this ditch line. So it's a cut slope as this is coming down this way.
Yeah.
So in order to get it flat, you're cutting on one side, filling on the other.
Right.
And that picks up this potential stormwater coming down this swale and then channels it across.
Yeah. Do you expect any velocities coming down through there of water?
A little bit, but it is engineered with the stone check dams proposed in here to dissipate the energy. That's going to be like a riprap, swale or vegetated swale.
Yeah.
It's fairly stony out there. It's not a real mobile type of soil. It doesn't have a lot of silts or fines in it, so it's pretty well drained. The seasonals out here are 56 and 50, 80. So we're right down into sand in here, so you're not going to get it. You're going to get a lot of infiltration pretty fast.
Yeah. All right. I noticed some words on the last page when it gets into the landscaping and all that other stuff.
Okay.
So under erosion control, general construction, note 12 brings up fertilizer.
Okay.
Because the proximity of the river, and the river is a protected river,
Yep.
We would typically recommend that there be no phosphate.
Okay.
Instead
Yeah,
of-
I mean that's definitely more or less a standard practice in those
Yeah.
shoreland zones. So we can modify that note. Is that within the shoreland zone, or did you have a separate distance that you would prefer?
Well, yeah, so certainly within the 250-foot zone, but that's much further down away from all this.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
most of this, most of the erosion control is going to be, it is going to be on these slopes.
Yeah.
Oops, I went too far, but.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't figure you'd be doing a whole lot of real seeding and grass in there anyway, so.
No, Mother Nature is pretty good at growing
Yeah,
the prickers and blackberries and grasses
Oh, yeah.
back in there. As long as it gets, obviously stabilized initially,
yeah.
and with some matting and on the steeper sections there. And, it will be seeded usually with like a conservation seed mix.
Mhm.
Is typically what they'll put on there. Fertilizer a lot of times really isn't necessary. A lot of these notes are standard,
Oh, yeah.
DOT erosion control notes that.
yeah. Yeah, so back to your question, we don't have a magic number of how many feet away and stuff like that, but this is well within the area that it just raises our eyebrow a little
Yep.
bit, so.
Yep, sure.
And the state's doing a special study on the Sauhegan River on inflows and other things like that, so
Yeah.
they're very sensitive to any sort of fertilizer use close to the river, so.
Sure, yep, we can certainly modify that.
Yeah. No, go ahead, yeah.
Again, back on that last page, just a quick one on erosion control, general construction, note 6. Is that pretty typical to, if you have a disturbed area, you only have 30 days before you need to do anything with it?
Well, it depends on what, let me just read it real quick here. I mean, it's fairly typical where you don't want to have, like a stockpile that's
Right.
that's out there for. So whether it starts seeding itself or you have some type of silt fence, around the toe of it, is fairly typical, especially if you're in a shoreline type of zone where you don't want that material to run away.
Yeah, I guess that was my question. See, I would think
Yeah.
you'd want to be inside of 30 days before you
Right.
doing anything with it.
Right. So usually, most of the time, it kind of takes care of itself. When once the construction starts, obviously it's more cost effective for the site work guy to keep going and not let it sit.
Yeah.
So sometimes you run into weather here or there, or winter catches you and you're stuck. But it's one of those notes where you just don't want it to leave it. So yeah.
Yeah, 30 days we've seen before, and then you have the October deadline, so if you haven't stabilized it, then you could have put the matting down and all that other stuff, but where we run into this more is when you're doing a larger subdivision and you're doing 12 or 15 homes, and
Right.
and your site guy will be in and out, different
You have a
times.
stockpile lot, and you're
Yeah.
working on multiple
Right, right.
lots. Right.
Yeah, so I don't think this is the situation here, so, but,
But and also then now on the very last note on the bottom there, you just make reference to hay.
It should be straw.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
much everywhere.
yeah, you,
There's a way through about halfway through the paragraph to make a reference to hay.
That's number 3.
Yes. Properly installed erosion control blankets covered with hay.
Yeah.
Got the straw.
Find your place.
No, that was about the only place I found it, so I was like, that's.
Yeah. We got most of them. There's a couple of stragglers.
Anyone have any other comments? Questions? Mike? Cindy? All right, so we need to make a recommendation. Are you before the planning board tomorrow?
I am not certain, to tell you the truth. I know I am not.
No? The next one? Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right,
So we
good.
have a little bit
'cause-
of time.
Yeah, because essentially I'm going to take some of these comments about the fertilizer and the hay
Yep.
to straw and put that in a letter to the planning board, make our recommendation.
Sure.
So,
Yep.
so good. I just needed to know if I needed to do it overnight or not. So.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
So,
Okay.
I'm going to be a little bold. Is the large lot, is that your lot? Are you planning on building a home there? You are, okay. Because if you change your mind, we would be interested in talking to you. Okay? Yeah. All right? So, if nothing else, we'd love to find a way to get a pedestrian easement across that parcel. Coming off the river, we own the property on the other side of the river. Someday we'd like to build a bridge. So we're looking for that lot plus your neighbor's, Barbara's lot next door. We thought we had an easement there, but that never got filed. So with the previous owner, it turned out. So, but yeah, if you should decide that that you change your plans or whatever, we could come to an agreement. Okay. Yeah. So I figure if I'm not bold and I don't bring it up, you never know.
Yeah.
Right, exactly,
Okay.
So, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Right.
So, right, anything else?
I don't.
All right, so I'll draft those couple of things into a letter to the planning board.
Okay, great.
All right.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you. Yeah. All right, do you want any of these back?
I can
them off again? It's-
I will have to include some into the thing, but if you, I mean.
I'd like to
a
keep one
couple
for the record.
folder,
I'm just
yeah,
going to keep one.
for the record.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, they get you.
On my calendar, I have, Tuesday the 19th.
Okay. All right, great. All right, well, that takes us to old business now and the Ned pipeline. So, this is permanent business. Do I need to make a new category in the agenda? So, so the first part of this is wetland mitigation projects. So if you recall, back in early December when we were visited by Tennessee and Kinder Morgan and their consultants and all those other things. So we were asked to put together a list of projects. I think we were asked to put together information about the projects. Wetland rules, in my opinion, state that we don't have to do that, that it's the applicant's responsibility to put more data to convince DES that it's an appropriate project. But we certainly have to show good faith in recommending projects and stuff like that. So I found it quite interesting. I think I forwarded to all of you some information about their pushing range to, engineered projects and all that stuff. Well, that's not the way I read the rules. And it's not the way we've ever acted in the past. Whenever we've had to do any of the mitigation projects, including the one that we're in the middle of right now with Chestnut Hill, the applicant has always had to put all the data and information together and pull it all together. We're just part of the advisory recommendation process. But that aside, we still need to put together a list and need to decide how we want to convey this information back. So we were asked to provide some information if we want to just say we've got nothing, or if we want to say these are the items and have a discussion. How do we want to do that? I'm almost wondering, do we want to invite them to our February meeting and say this is where we're at, this is what we've got, and have an interchange, or do we want to send the list over the wall and see if they come back and say they want to talk to us?
We discussed projects last
Yeah.
meeting.
We did, yeah.
We identified.
I just want to make sure that we're not ever accused of being a roadblock, and that being a reason for them not to be providing mitigation services here in town versus paying for the ARP fund.
Right.
So if we feel comfortable that waiting until the February meeting to have that interchange with them and invite them back, that's fine. Or if we feel that we need to get that, at least a list, there, we can provide a list and data points, and they're still going to need our permission to go look at the property and survey the property, so to get information. So I guess it would be, to me, not a big deal to supply them with a list, because they're still going to have to come back to talk to us at some point in time to see what's going on, to see what we want to do.
Is there some kind of verification that they receive that information? Like if we send them a...
Well, we could set it registered, absolutely. Yeah. They've been pretty good about email, though.
Yeah.
So if we send an email and we got a response that says acknowledged, and if we didn't get an acknowledged, I can ping them back.
Right.
And there's enough people to email so that one of them's going to respond.
And you could put, something on the email to say, get a read receipt,
Right? Yeah.
so you could get that
And
too.
Also, it's probably something we could send to someone up at DES too, saying that we're responding to
Yeah.
Kinder Morgan with, here's a list of projects that we want to accomplish, and they're all either wetlands based or some type of upland property protection, something.
Yeah. So
I mean, you know the timeframes. You've done a much better job of keeping track of the timeframes. So I mean, February, is it too late?
I don't think so. When we warned them in December that we weren't going to do it in 30 days, 30 days is up already anyway. So we told them that January would be our best, and that it might actually take to February. I'm thinking that we can provide them a list after this meeting, and then give them the opportunity to to come to a February meeting, say, let us know these are the 2 dates, or you can pick another date on our calendar further out if that's better for you, and we can discuss these in more detail. But some of these are going to require, look and see and proposal work done and all that, and
Yeah.
that is not something that we have on the shelf at this point. So, my impression was they were trying to get the list together so when they submit to the SEC, the New Hampshire, that they had a list here. I think if you look at the minutes, they backpedaled a little bit and said, well, at least give us something to get started with. So that's kind of what I'm thinking we should do. So now we all know that land purchase opportunities come and go, and there's not a whole lot of detail we can do with those. So, but we can point them at places that we might want them to look at as well in our list. And I've got some thoughts on that we can talk about tonight. So, when you look at the updated rules for wetlands that go into effect in February 1st, I read that it says that they have to show that the commission provided them information, and that can be done through the minutes of the commission. And if Don has done a very nice job of doing minutes, so it's our attitude to be engaged and to be part of the process I think is very clear when you look at our minutes. So, of course, we have video as well. So, I don't think we're at risk of them saying that we weren't trying to help, or help, not the right word. We weren't trying to be a partner in this. So,
I'm not saying we were, I'm just
yeah,
saying
right.
they can accuse us of anything.
That's right.
So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
reality isn't always true. There's a little difference there.
Yeah. So tonight, let's, if the consensus of the commission is, let's put the list together. We can provide it and give them the opportunity to decide whether they want to come talk to us about the list. Does that sound good to you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think a lot of those projects actually were summed up in the last set of minutes anyway.
Yeah.
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 Got them all pulled back there.
I don't.
So list. So I started trying to put some together in my notes. I think we've got, the Bambi Trail project? Was that one of them?
Yes.
Now, that's
So-
that's the one where there's hop skipping and a jumping across informal bridges.
No, this is actually deep water.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, it used to be deep water, now it's just very wide.
Yeah.
Because there's been so much travel
Yeah.
over it.
Right.
Right. There's no exposed rocks anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a big jump.
Yeah.
We're walking right through it.
So if you look at that parcel, it goes from.
Should I bring it up? Do you want to go that far?
No, you can't really see it on the map.
Yeah.
You'd have to, if you go out and walk, it's the tree cover is such, you can't really see it. So.
Okay.
But you walk across a, sheet flow area that's just wet. It's just wet all the time. It's wet all year. It's wet. I've never been back there and it's been dry.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to walk across Old Blood Road.
Yeah.
So and that's been badly bathtubed.
Yeah.
That section right off the end of Bambi Trail.
Right.
So you walk across the bathtub, you walk across sheet flow, wetlands, and then you walk again across a badly bathtub area across the stream.
Yeah.
That goes back up now into the classroom.
Yep.
So, and the rain the other day, I happened to be out there with a friend the other day, and the velocity coming down from the
Slope.
classroom down into the water now is, it's a steep slope,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some real velocity there. So it's becoming, what we kind of thought was, we'll just do a catwalk type thing, and that's become, I think, quite a big project.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's,
Right. So that's one.
yeah.
Are there any details you think that would need to be done there, like a bridge, a fill, a retaining wall or something, or?
Probably a boardwalk to a bridge,
Yeah.
and then stabilizing the slope that goes up into the classroom.
Yeah, I would think that almost that, you know, because we kind of figured out, we kind of found a way around that bathtub a little bit. It might require changing the trail, because it's just, to fill in that bathtub is pretty, it's big. I mean,
Yeah.
when you get down through it, I mean, I'm hip high into the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
So the bridge is going to have to be either quite significant in length to get across that piece, or we change where the trail goes. So it's
I would suspect we'd then change where the trail
yeah,
goes.
I was just saying, I was out kind of looking at it, and it's significant
Mhm.
project. Such a small space.
Okay. Because they're going to have questions about all these.
Yeah.
So,
Now, along that same line, when we get from the Clapham, we had the environmental trail that originally was flagged. I've not found any flags
Mhm.
recently, so it may have been taken up. But the environmental trail that goes out from the classroom out towards Marty Drive and around the backside of that swamp, the wetlands there is, again, that was going to be something, if we ever wanted to make that trail, there's going to have to be some significant boardwalk
mhm.
creation to get around there. And when we do boardwalk creation, that's one of the trail methods, because you can accept handicapped and no OPD, OPD, what is it?
OPMD?
OPMD devices on them. So they actually now also qualify for the Safe Trails to School.
Mhm.
So, and where we're trying to get up to Marty Drive anyways, it might be something we could upgrade that with.
Yeah.
How long is that about? Like
Uh,
100,
So it's,
Couple hundred feet.
I'm not measuring it.
yeah, I mean, just a rough idea.
3/8 of a mile?
It's gonna be, by the time you're done, yeah, it's gonna be, yeah, quarter to that, yeah, it's gotta be at least quarter mile.
Yeah, so when I'm when I'm listening to you describe it, and I'm looking at the three things that you can do,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure, it's not a clean fit.
Yeah, it's not, the original trail there from Bimby Road, from Bimby Trail is gonna be, a fix.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's an easy one, but
Mhm.
the safe trails, the safe pathways to school is something that supposedly is gaining a lot of traction and they've been able to use it for some mitigation issues, but you have to look at the new bylaw to see if that's gonna fit.
Yeah. All right. South Grader Road reconstruction, I think is a good one.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, so are we thinking construction or reconstruction?
Both.
Yeah.
Reconstruction in one area.
And then moving it.
And then
Right.
And
yeah.
moving it, yes.
Do we
yes.
want a,
Location.
Yeah, because we're going to need some culverts put into that
Yeah.
as it comes down from Amherst.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll need to reroute up and around the Beaver and have it rejoin the Class 6 road later, so that way we can have that whole emergency access.
do we want a woods road, or do we want a road like the main trail through Greater Woods? We want more like a red maple trail.
Yeah.
More like a red maple, less like a
Yeah,
greater.
that's what I would like
I mean,
to see.
less like Gateway.
Yeah.
Right. Yep, because we want to be able to get a woods truck in there, emergency vehicle.
Emergency vehicle.
Yeah. And besides that, we plan on gating it anyway, so we have some steps we have to do to accomplish this project, as in to declassify the road and stuff like that, but I think we can get that done. So. All right.
Invasives.
Yeah, so I know.
Someone had mentioned invasives.
Right, yeah, I brought up the Wasserman Conservation Area invasives problem. Again, that one's kind of that's not a cut and dry. Doesn't fit their three project styles, but it's certainly worth looking at it.
Because we have that same, we've already kind of paid for it behind the knotweed and all that, but we have that same issue going on along that whole brook.
Yeah.
Right. Boosick Brook, yeah.
All that, yeah, but Boosick Brook is, there's a lot of
Yeah.
invasives growing along there.
I wonder if they're in that lot that's possibly being donated or to us.
Oh, I would suspect they are.
It's right by there.
Yeah. Yeah, because we own 10 and 12, and I'm sure there's lots of issues out there with invasives. So, yep. So that's another one. Land purchases. So right now we have our parcel that we know about out on Continental Boulevard, but it's also abutted by 3 DOT parcels. I think it might be worthwhile to tell them to go buy them for us,
Yeah.
right? They're going to impact them anyways with the pipeline, but let's make that complete. You know, I'm not sure what cost that's involved, but it's certainly the same watershed, right? So,
And we're feeding into it from the other side anyway, so.
yeah.
And who owns those lots now?
DOT.
Oh, okay.
There's been 2 attempts for us to get them donated or for the town to purchase them, and they haven't followed through. And it's been over 10 years since the last attempt. I've been looking at the records. Tim Thompson said that he would look into it, but it's not high on his priority list. I'm thinking, well, if this is a perfect opportunity for them to have their land consultants do some work.
Or
So,
we could send
and-
Mike in.
What?
We could send Mike in, you know, he gets them, get those done, you know.
You talking about another Mike?
All right. So then after that, it's, you know, there's a number of land parcels that we're interested in town, but we don't have any purchase and sales agreements or anything in place yet, so. We can say that we can work upland ideas, and the timing may work out well, so.
Yeah, you're talking about the uplands of South Greater Road there.
Yeah. That's a potential parcel. You know, the donut hole. Right? That's a perfect opportunity. The donut hole. When you look at all the land that we own out there. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's some land abutting Horse Hill that we could be looking at. There's land along the Merrimack River. Merrimack River is going to be impacted. There's a few parcels out there that are owned by private people that we could be looking at within the flood zone. So I think there are opportunities. We'd have to work with them to figure out how they want to go after them. So.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think if you put it all together, we can hit the number that's needed. But until we have an interchange that says this is what we'd be interested in working on, because you know, like the trail reconstructions and all that, that's going to require some engineering work, and to put it all together. And so we need to find out how willing they are to help with that engineering work. You know, so. And how much, and then again, how much we're willing to put up. So I know one of them is very important to us, South Greater Road. We may even start some of that activity anyways, but so. Anything else? Did I capture all the things in the minutes? Yeah.
Yes, I think you have.
Yeah. Anything else come to mind?
11 parcels now.
Okay.
Who's got the checklist for the parcels? Is it you? Or
I have one.
Well, we had one that we kinda made up.
So-
You
so
couldn't
I-
find it or something.
So I have the criteria listing. I do not have the parcels that have passed the criteria. I've looked through all my notes and emails, and I do not have that,
You
so.
know, we purposely kept those out of
Yeah, so I don't,
the minutes and stuff.
right.
Some of those are highlighted in that folder you showed me. Andy's folder or something.
In the binder here, yeah.
I have most of them in here.
Okay. All right.
Where's that criteria document? Because I was digging around for it the other day, I couldn't find it. It's like,
2012.
was it that long ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, adjoining other large parcels.
You want me to resend the criteria document? I can do that.
If you have it.
Well, I've given it to Mike. Mike has it. I've emailed it to you.
Because that document's nothing, that's not a
Right, no, it's,
confidential, I mean, we could stick that up on the,
we discussed it in public, yeah,
we
yeah,
could stick that
absolutely.
up on the website, because if people, like, if I have a piece of property that meets any of these criteria, they may wanna come talk to us.
Yeah,
That would be, going back to a conversation we had a long time ago, is, people may be willing to donate or sell us land, they just don't even know that we're interested in.
mm-hmm,
And, it's just an easy way of advertising a little bit.
yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Anything else on this subject? So, motion to intervene. As you know, I submitted on the 4th, a week ago today, a motion to intervene. Technically, there's 15 days to say no, but it doesn't look like Kinder Morgan or TGP has said no to anybody or raised a stink because it hasn't been publicly filed. Very interesting, all the interveners, especially the folks that want to export gas through Canada. That was just really great. Irving Oil, they put it in writing. I got a real kick out of that. That's a precious one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say all you want now, but now we know that they want to sell to someone who wants to export it out to Canada, through Canada. So I just want to make sure everyone was okay with the letter.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everything,
Nice job.
okay,
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you for doing that.
okay.
156
Great job.
motions filed today or something like that.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, I have-
You just can't even keep up with them. The last 2 weeks have just been.
I tried to get them off my personal email,
Yeah.
and they're still coming. Like I went back and said, take me off.
Oh, yes, I take you.
There's so many of them.
They have you now.
That's it.
I know. Yeah, I haven't been able to keep up. I've looked for the ones from conservation, anything other than individual. But I can't even look at the individuals because, like
Even
you
some
said,
of those,
they're
I've
just-
been going through just grabbing one or two and just looking at
Yeah.
it. I'm not even boiling down to this is conservation. I'm just like reading them.
oh,
Some of
okay.
them are, some of them are obviously, filled out on the cover,
Yeah.
intervene, some basics, and okay, fine, whatever. But some of them, even though the individuals, there's some people that have put some real work into these motions, and I as a homeowner,
Mhm.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine the fight that they're going through to protect themselves against, and they're spending a lot of time and money and effort doing this, and nothing's even in stone yet.
Right.
I think this is breaking the record for most
Oh yeah.
I don't think it has yet.
respondents.
The last I heard is that it was at up to 900, but that was probably a couple hundred ago. I think the record I had heard was like maybe 1,500.
Yeah.
Well, I was
But-
talking about like total.
Total comments, yeah.
Yes, total comment. Oh, yes, you're right. I was talking about just the motion to intervene.
Yeah, that broke a record
Yeah,
a couple months ago.
yeah, for the comments. And since we still have many days left, I mean, they're just coming in fast and furious.
They extended, the website was down for a couple days over the holidays.
Yeah.
And so they extended the comment period,
Yeah.
motion to intervene period.
Mhm.
Nice having a break for a few days.
Yeah, I know. I thought something was wrong. I'm like, why can't I?
Yeah.
And after you open so many in a row, it cuts you off. And this has happened on more than one computer, like that I've been trying to go through them, and it cuts you off. So you have to wait for a while. So it's funny. I don't know why, but
All right. Has anyone been reading all the resource reports and all that stuff?
Only you two right now, I think.
Okay. So that takes care of motion to intervene. Then we have attorney.
Yeah, so I thought that the attorney that I was hoping to get was not going to be available, but it turns out she is. So I think everyone has seen that information. I mean, I can still continue to look if you'd like, or like Tim mentioned, we can.
So are we looking to have an attorney in case we need one, or are we definitely going?
Yeah, I don't want to get to the point where we think we need an attorney and then, oh crap, now we got to find one.
Yeah, so this is someone we're just gonna put on retainer.
That was my thought. I mean, you know, there were a listing of things, but I didn't know if any of those really, any of those were really applicable for our situation.
Right.
So I was thinking just retainer, but.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because we're going to likely run into an eminent domain issue,
Yes.
assuming that the FERC route is the route that's proposed.
Mm.
So we need to have someone who's fluent in the federal law for eminent domain. Or is it? Well, that's the question I have though about eminent domain. Is it? Once it's decreed, is it a state issue? Is it done at the state courts, or is it done at the federal level? I don't know.
I would have thought it had to be federal level because it's in the Constitution.
Yeah. I think that document that you sent out, I was just reading that today, talked about it going through the U.S. You know, like there's a location in New Hampshire for
Right.
the U.S. court,
Right.
and I think it would go through there.
Okay. So she's based out of Washington D.C.
Mm-hmm.
So she'd have to plead the case here in New Hampshire.
Mm. True. Or send it an associate.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is how would that happen?
Okay.
You know, and how would the costs for that be bared? Okay. Make sense?
Yeah.
Then if eminent domain is required and the courts rule that way, then there's a whole question of an easement. And is that handled during the eminent domain process, or is that a separate discussion, the actual easement itself? Because we want to have that negotiated to the best of our favor as possible.
So I think that would also have to have some type of change to the deed.
Well, yeah, so that brings up the other point. We have to deal with how we're going to manage the issues of the charitable trust and the Attorney General. Because that's got to be a process. Now, we aren't going to be the only ones going through this.
Right.
And hopefully the Attorney General's office is thinking about how they're going to handle this. But, so, I can see this getting expensive.
Yes.
It's going to be the most expensive 13 acres we've ever owned, or 10.75 acres we've ever owned. So,
You know, it's like something like this happens, but the expenses be, adds expense to the town, to this commission, to all kind, you know.
You're screwing me already for taking my land, and now you're making me pay for it.
yeah.
And pay to defend it.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't even get my head around how this works.
It's ridiculous.
Just looking at the last one where it says judicial review and individual condemnation proceedings. There's no fee listed. I mean, that's discuss. No estimate at this time too far ahead and potentially not applicable. That's what
Yeah.
we're hoping.
Right.
But
All right.
Think about it, get pissed.
Yep. I know. Yep.
And so we're going to be around for such a long time.
Yep.
so I can ask her.
If you don't mind, I'd like to
Questions?
learn a little bit more before we.
Mhm.
Okay.
We're obviously,
Thanks, Cindy.
we're obviously we're interested in going down that path, but we just need
Yeah,
to,
a little
just need
more.
to know upfront.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, the other item I had is the survey denial form that Cindy forwarded a copy of, or she modified for us.
And you were right, I did change it from what I brought. I was just
Yeah.
anxious
Yes.
that night.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, I guess what is the general opinion of the members? Do you think we need to actually do this or not?
I think we have to.
Meaning,
I mean, we told them in public record, that's fine, but I think, we need to file something with them and with FERC or whoever and say, look, this is, no, you can't go on there,
yeah, just because
you know?
they've always said in the past, right, if they don't have something denying it, then
Right.
no. Don't,
Yeah,
they're not going to go by it.
You don't.
I'm not convinced of that.
Mhm.
The town hasn't done it, and they have their own attorney advising them, so.
Well, because they were working on an agreement, right?
Well, they're working on a survey agreement.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think were they working on a denial agreement?
Well, no, I mean, as opposed to denying it, I think
Right, but
they
I'm saying,
were
were they-
working on it,
Did
but.
they
No.
work up a denial?
Mhm.
But I don't recall hearing that that it was a recommendation of their attorney to do that either, so.
Oh, you mean in the meantime?
Right.
Like she didn't say do the denial and then. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, the town hasn't really denied them access to anything. Have they? They haven't
Yeah,
really-
well, they've told them that don't go on the property or we'll arrest you.
Right, but Kinder Morgan hasn't come to them and said, look, we want to put a pipeline here on this piece.
Well, originally they
Originally
asked to survey, just like they asked us to survey.
Mm-hmm.
So they sent the same thing, but many months ago.
Yeah.
So,
So you don't think this is necessary?
I personally don't, but I'm only one of 5 members here, so.
Why do you think we're in the clear, even though we don't need it?
Because I think you have to ask permission, not, it's not the other way around where we ask for forgiveness,
Oh, right.
right? They also stated they wouldn't do it, but that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean they'll keep their word anyway, so.
Yeah. I mean, because it is, I mean, yes, it's fenced, so people think that they can't go on it.
Mhm.
People can go on there.
Right, and we don't have any no
There's
trespassing
no-
signs
yeah,
up.
It's not like it's a.
Right.
I'm not even sure why the fence is up.
I have a feeling DOT put it up.
But for what purpose though?
Yeah,
Just,
Just keep people out.
just to,
They could pretend to be pedestrians and just like walk through, without,
that would stop people from walking up close to the road.
no, I mean, I was talking about Kinder Morgan, surveying the,
okay. Hey, again, I'm happy to go, if the commission wants to do it, we can do it. So,
I mean, one thing that makes me feel like maybe we don't have to do this is the fact that it's all recorded.
Right, it's not like it's not recorded, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But it's recorded here. We know it, they know it, nobody else does.
yeah.
I don't think anyone at FERC is sitting down watching Channel
I
22.
mean, what do we, so on the other side,
But FERC has no
Well,
ability to
hey,
enforce this. This has nothing to do with FERC.
Yeah, I know, it's whoever, I mean, there's nobody,
and the other point is, what
The public has arrived?
what do we,
Oh.
like, what do we, the other point is, what do we have to lose by sending it out? Is there anything, I mean, just to be safe and send it out?
I mean, do you think we're doing something wrong by doing it? I mean, you're hesitant about something.
Yeah, so I'm hesitant of being seen as extremists in this,
Okay.
okay? That's, I would just assume keep the rapport between us at some sort of a,
Negotiable level.
yeah, because, I mean, there's a lot more interactions that we're going to have with them going forward. And I think the time to really send a stern tone will come, but I don't think this is it.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
We have it recorded, obviously, it's in the minutes, it's on tape, it's, we can always point to it, I just,
But again, I'm only one member, so I'm trying to keep emotion out of this.
Well, that's why we're asking questions, right? Want to
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
out what are the pros and cons.
And they have been fairly collaborative up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
So by, this being like a wall.
We could the part that really gets me is the last sentence. I mean, actually it's the last phrase, and treated as trespass.
well, we can't really do that, because people are allowed to go on it.
Until we adequately post it.
Right.
No
People- I'm saying
trespassing.
People are allowed to go on it. So it's not actually, we're not actually denying access to property, we're denying their access to survey the property.
Right. That's true.
They can go walk it. State by state legal, it's fine, but.
That's kind of like the point I was making before.
Yeah.
What's to stop them from just like
Right.
pedestrian and walking through and
Mm-hmm.
taking notes.
Because there's lots of other places to access that, it's difficult, it's wet, but you can still get there from 101A side.
Yeah.
You can park in any of those first couple businesses right there.
Mm-hmm.
And one was a used car lot, so you don't pick out a car sitting there anyways,
Right. Yeah.
so.
Okay.
So, I mean, if the last sentence wasn't there, I think it's okay.
I kind of think I trust your opinion on keeping this letter out.
For now.
Yeah, I mean,
Obviously, if there's an issue, then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then maybe that's,
If we hear our neighbors having real issues.
yeah. Mm. Yeah, I don't think I've heard anything recently,
Mm-hmm.
but I know before. Well, at least not in New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
I think other states there. But
Honestly, I don't care if they park on the side of the road and they stay on DOT parcel and they walk down and they look and they peer.
Yeah.
It couldn't stop them anyways.
yeah,
And honestly, I don't care if they do that. I'd like them to see that there's 2 culverts and it's all wet all the time. And you just don't want them on that property.
yeah,
So
shovels
if-
and things.
Yeah. So if they look and see it and they go, oh crap, it really is underwater,
Right.
you know.
and we did tell them that, I mean,
Yeah.
it's even in the minutes, it's wet, it's wet, like this, that one section along Continental Boulevard, that's about the only dry place where anything of any substantial
Yeah.
size can grow, everything else is,
Yeah.
is pretty wet.
So,
Yeah, I'm okay with holding off on this. I mean, like you said, it's not like we saw them in the hall and said, we're denying this. We actually had a vote. It's in the minutes. It's on
Yeah.
the tape.
mm-hmm.
So, and
Okay.
I'm okay with it.
All right.
Tabling.
So anything else to do with the Ned pipeline? Anyone hear anything about the site evaluation committee process? Has that come up? I mean, at some point they have to make the application. They were supposed to do it soon.
I haven't heard. I'm
But I haven't
behind in
heard
some of my
anything.
emails, but I haven't.
Okay. And I haven't been checking
Check on
the SEC site, but
Mhm.
I was assuming that as soon as they did it, it would be a flutter across all kinds of.
The only thing that I have heard is that they met and they have not decided whether they are going to file a motion to intervene.
SEC?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, because I believe other states have. The other states have. But that's
Okay.
all I've heard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Anything else? So, other old business. Target shooting ordinance. So there was a number of, I should say a number, there was a few back and forths about the wording. I have a few little corrections I think still need to go into it. But what we're looking to do tonight is to get all your opinion, your thoughts, your comments on the proposed ordinance. This would be pretty much a complete rewrite of the current ordinance, because the current ordinance just talks about Horse Hill Nature Preserve. So there was questions about, are we concerned about bow and arrow target shooting? And that wasn't what instigated this, so.
Well, part of this is, though, safety.
Yeah.
So, any projectile.
Mm-hmm.
But now you get into, well, what if they're out there throwing a ball around in the woods?
Right.
But,
Slingshot.
yeah.
So we don't need a license to use those.
And the only, one thing that bothers me a little bit is how it's just geared towards just target shooting as opposed to like the discharge of firearms except for hunting. It's like, so if they're not shooting at targets, is that allowed? To just be...
Well, we see inanimate objects, they're going to start shooting at trees and saying it's live. But
Yeah, well, then you get into reckless use of a firearm. There's all kinds of other things that you can get into.
That kind of covers it, in other words?
I think so.
has the chief looked at this yet?
I'm not sure.
What kind of
So-
a written contract would be entered into between an individual's employer?
I mean, that's just me. I would like to just see, the discharge of firearms being...
So, your favorite concept is if we hired a trapper or a hunter to go eliminate a species, or take care of a species, we could hire them to go basically hunt on our property.
And that would be considered target shooting?
No,
Well-
that's what's.
But it says a person target shooting in accordance.
Well, no, but it's saying, yeah, but if we're, if personally, if they've entered into a written contract with someone in the town to go hunt on their property, or a private citizen to go hunt on their property, or to discharge fire on their property, that's obviously allowed,
Yeah, that's an exception.
that's the exception.
Okay, I guess it's just unstrained because it said a person target shooting in accordance with written contract, like you're going to hire somebody to go
I mean,
target shooting,
well,
you know.
I like it. I just
But-
would like to see, like, the discharge of firearms, but, I mean, so that's my only thing.
No, but now you basically limited this to only guns.
Wasn't the initial.
Yeah.
Target shooting with firearm prohibited, yeah, that's what it's true.
Well, and in the definitions it says target shooting shall mean the use of a firearm to shoot at inanimate objects.
I mean,
Well, how would
the
that-
intent is there, but, I don't know, it's just, I think target
So,
shooting,
the
they have
trouble
a
is,
target.
if someone's up with a bow and arrow shooting, you're never gonna know.
Yeah,
You'd have to have pretty good hearing,
right.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that's, I don't know, see that just being too specific.
It can always be modified. You can always amend ordinances if we all of a sudden start having a problem with something else.
And I feel like the problem that we have isn't people target shooting with bow and arrows.
Right.
The problem that we have right now is
Right.
firearms.
Yeah.
Firearms with projectiles that can travel 1 or 2 miles.
An arrow really can only,
You'd know, 'cause if you hit a tree, you're not getting that shaft back.
Yeah.
and people don't like to lose those
Yeah,
typically.
Yeah, that's why they shoot into.
It's not as much
Yeah,
fun, I
strawberries.
would imagine.
Yeah.
No,
I for one think the firearms is what
that's
we're
what
looking
trying
at.
to address.
we're addressing. Yeah.
No, I thought this was okay.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I like it, except I would just like it to be more general.
Yeah, so you can anticipate that this is going to raise the concern of people thinking we're going to try and limit hunting.
Mm.
Okay, and I was hoping to keep the language so that it doesn't even hint that that's what we're trying to do here. Okay.
Do we specifically say hunting does not
Yeah.
apply to
We're-
hunting?
We're allowed, yeah.
Number 3, it says, yeah, it's
Yeah.
not intended to prohibit.
And
Right.
and it shouldn't be.
Right, so the language on that number 3, where it says where activity is not otherwise prohibited by deed, state law, or federal law, I was thinking of asking to have that kind of language moved up into number 2 as well, or made general
Mm.
to this whole C paragraph, because it really applies everywhere, okay? Because
Good idea.
we don't want target shooting where it's prohibited by deed either, state law, and not even be able to make a contract.
Right.
Which the attorney did tell me that, no, we couldn't do it if the deed said it can't be done. We can't write a contract that would allow them to do it.
Oh, okay.
Because we do have some parcels that we own
Mm-hmm.
that are deeded no firearm use at all, period.
Oh, okay. No matter
So-
what.
Right. Wasserman Conservation Area being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So what do you wanna move to where?
so
Item 3?
yeah. So the part of item 3 where it says where such activity is not otherwise otherwise prohibited by deed, by state law or federal law, or by the Town of Merrimack Code of Ordinances, chapters 111, 128. I'd like to have that whole thing, that phrase, brought up to number 2 as well.
And number 3 would just say the hunting part, hunting with firearm.
No, I want to leave it
Keep
there.
it in, yeah.
Yeah.
It applies to there, but it also applies to 2 as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
It'd be in both
So
places.
we're copying it up there, not moving it.
Correct,
Right.
copying it
Alright.
there. Yeah. Yeah, or suggesting the attorney find a way to make sure that that language is clear, that we want to intend it for number 2 as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So, and then the only other minor edits is it's not the Town of Merrimack School District, it's the Merrimack School District.
Mm.
So we got some, that pops up in a couple places and just needs to be fixed. So. Right? But I would expect there's going to be some discussion at this when this goes to public hearing.
Yeah.
Just by people who want to make sure we're not trying to limit hunting, and that's not my intent. I don't think it's our intent at all.
No.
I mean, we all know that hunting is a valuable part of conservation. Understood.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, understood.
It's a matter of opinion, but
Yeah.
but
And I-
that's not what we're trying to do here.
We're
So
not, you know,
yeah.
we're not even trying to limit target shooting. We're trying to limit target shooting on
Right.
public land.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
People have places to go do this, please, that's by all means, go.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
That's not the.
But not on,
at all.
not on our property open to the public.
Right.
Yeah, with their own adequate backstops and everything else that goes along with it.
Right.
You know, notice, people know that there's things going on here, so.
Mhm. Has it gotten better at Greater Woods
This
Since
year
we-
is quieter.
since we own it now?
I don't,
No.
They don't
It's
know.
just, I think it's just 'cause it's gotten cold.
Oh, okay.
Since we own it, no, it's not gotten better. Because when I was out there a couple weeks before we went,
Yeah.
it was clean.
yeah,
And then when we went, it was not clean.
right.
Yeah.
Wow, that happened in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so I did not review the entire list of parcels. You can see there's quite a few of them involved,
Yeah.
which is a great list for everyone to have in case you didn't own it, have it, so.
Mm-hmm.
Be aware that some of these that are listed as Town of Merrimack also fall under us.
Yeah, I think we need to include Riverside Drive.
That's included by Chapter 111,
Okay.
okay?
It isn't,
Is not on here, though?
yeah, we're,
Should be on here.
It is, I was just expecting a highlight.
What's, I didn't understand what the highlight,
Yeah.
highlighting for.
I didn't either.
it already has a deed restriction,
Oh, I see. It
or, so are all these
Does it
properties
coordinates
are
with these,
included,
maybe?
right?
Is that what that means?
Every single one of these properties?
Deed
are
restrictions
be
are
included, yeah.
orange,
Okay, so
conservation easement and
the highlighting is deceiving.
I don't think so.
What's the highlighting indicative of?
yeah, I don't know. Then.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Well, The orange should be deed restriction.
Is that how you read it? Is that that key up in the top corner like that?
Yeah, except there's no yellow.
Yeah, it's no yellow. It's like,
So you're
Is-
right. I
is
don't know
yellow
what's
supposed to be-
highlighted. Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what was what.
Yeah.
maybe yellow's supposed to be green.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe yellow's supposed to be green.
Yeah,
You're
that's
right.
a good point.
Yeah, looks like it.
Hmm.
Wasserman, Horse Hill,
Yeah, because the last
Yeah.
color is at the.
Watkins. I bet
very
the
last
yellow's supposed to
page.
be green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all these properties are included, every single one of them.
Yes.
Yellow.
I just haven't verified that every one of them is there. I didn't spend that time. I figured there's time to go do that, so I just haven't done it. All right, so we ready to move this forward then? Okay. My intent was to bring it up on Thursday, say this is coming.
Mm, Yep.
So I'll give comments back to the attorney and let the attorneys have one more crack at it. So, okay.
So does this mean that they would have to attach a list periodically, an updated list?
Yep,
Since it actually says a current list is, okay.
yep, they'd have to keep the list current.
Okay.
And so if we bought properties and all that, there'd be an amendment,
Oh,
and they'd have to go through the process to amend the ordinance.
okay.
Yep.
You think it'd be able to be set up so that any property that the town or the Conservation Commission possesses just automatically goes under this ordinance?
Yeah, so I debated back and forth, do we want to just leave it general and say if it's town-owned, school-owned, or conservation-owned, you can't do it?
Yeah.
And then people could say, well, I didn't know. Now we know, it's a direct list. These are the parcels,
Yeah, it's true.
so. It gives the police that extra bite,
Mm. Mhm.
so. But it puts the onus on the town to keep the list current,
Okay.
which we don't do a good job of always, but it doesn't change that often
Yeah, that's true.
anyways.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like it's that thing.
Yeah.
You know, a couple entries a year.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay,
In case you guys are wondering, that equals out to about 301 acres.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Wow.
301 acres.
300.
Yeah, all the big parcels on this list.
That's it?
Maybe
How's
more than
that?
Oh, it's gotta be a lot more than that.
This Horse Hill is,
Yeah, Forest Hill's 563
Yeah.
acres.
No, I just added that column.
hmm.
Maybe it didn't add, or maybe it didn't add correctly. Oh, yeah, 'cause oh, yeah. Oh, that's large, 1.1.
Fields Farm is 96 acres. You know, Greater Woods
I
is
have-
400
I
and something
I
acres.
just did grab that whole column and added it, it's,
Yeah,
obviously didn't have to add the whole thing.
yeah, I'm thinking the number's closer to 16, 17, or maybe even 2,000 acres.
Yeah. Maybe it's not formatted for,
Yeah, maybe this, yeah. Oh,
maybe it did something else account or something.
It's easy enough to open up again, just,
Yeah.
probably, maybe it didn't grab the whole cell, the whole.
Oh, up
Yeah.
so far, yeah.
All right, are we good with this agenda item?
Yeah,
Yep.
I think so.
Mhm.
All right, so that takes us to new business, the annual report and the annual review with the town council. We'll take up the report first, since it's only one page. Language, the first paragraph is extremely similar to the past 2 years that we've done it. In fact, I used to have 2 paragraphs, I kind of combined them in order to keep the entire report on one page. So, and then the very end of it is also very similar to what we've done in the past, and the idea of finances. The finances constitute the balances that were at the end of the fiscal year that ended on June 30, 2015. Those balances have actually changed since then. Fund 53 has far less money in it now. We spent $400,000.
That's right.
So, but next time there is something coming out of
Replenish it.
yeah, we'll get a little chunk. So, and there is a project that will eventually come out, and that's Chestnut Hill. So,
Okay, so that
We spent quickly. That's more property.
So.
How about Mike?
Yeah, I know.
So any general comments, questions, errors, editing, anything like that? Did I leave out any scout projects? I only believe we did one last year, which is the first one in the list.
Didn't we I think we had a couple bridges too.
Not last year, though, right?
Now, the previous year, I had 3 projects on here in the report. So I went through all our agendas,
I believe you.
and I skimmed some minutes. And I was surprised too, but that's all I found. So we have a project started with a scout for Horse Hill at this point. So
That's right.
so maybe we'll have another one.
Yeah.
So look good.
I think it looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
good
right.
job.
Okay, I will forward that on then.
Slides are just your talking points from the. Just go into them.
No, so the report's not going to the town council, the slides will.
Okay.
The report goes in the annual report, the annual book that they create every year, so. So the slides, again, are very similar to what I've done in the past couple of years. There's very, the pages are almost verbatim to what I've done in the past. Current commission members, you'll see that I highlighted that we have openings. I plan on making that point. Then the next sheet, number 3 is verbatim to what I've done, just to remind everybody why we are. And then last year I started something different, which is I'm continuing this year, and I took the activities that were proposed and statused them. We did this, we didn't do that. I think that's I think it's kind of good to say what we set out to do and what we did.
That's good.
And then I always had a slide that says these are some of the other things that we did do, so you can certainly see that we're busy. There was a question, Matt, maybe Joe's project's the only scout project we did last year, correct? Completed last year?
I'm trying to think if the observation deck over by BB Lane.
Yeah, that was definitely in
14.
last year's report.
Okay.
Yeah, I did highlight that one last time.
We
Yeah,
painted it this year.
Maintenance things.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think he was the only scout project.
Yeah.
There were quite a few. Oh,
Bridges
J-
did
J-
wholesale.
James Jolly. His trail project.
Oh, behind the high school?
Yeah. It was completed this year, for sure. Or completed in 2015. He came to us for not permission because it wasn't on our property,
Yeah.
but just sort of as a
Didn't he
FYI.
go across that little parcel we bought?
Yeah, he did. So yeah,
So it is on.
definitely
Right.
include that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I will make the add to the report and to this guy here.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Don't want to leave anyone out, especially scouts. They put a lot of effort into things. So.
And he did. He went over and above. He
Yeah.
He did another project by putting benches on it. I don't know if you've been out there
Yeah.
lately.
I haven't seen the benches.
There's
so,
benches
yeah.
along the whole thing.
James gets a lot of stuff done. I don't think he sleeps.
Yeah. I work with his dad, so
Okay.
not directly all the time, but same.
That's right there. He's all right.
Okay. Good. Just want to make sure we don't leave anyone out because that's really important. So. Okay.
Got a lot of R's in that Merrimack number 8.
Number.
Since the last video. We got an extra R in there.
Got an extra R.
Oh, good catch.
Yep. Oh, yes. Until I hand typed it instead of do a cut and paste. Yeah, that was probably wrong on the last one, too. I don't think I fixed that, so.
Merrimack.
Yeah.
So now town council thinks our website doesn't work.
Did we pay for that?
Yeah, right.
I got it right on sheet 5, though.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so then, sheet 6, finances. Again, that's the values at the very end of the fiscal year, which was June 30 of 2015. I forward all of you the latest balances, so we have all that, so,
Are you gonna speak to that at all? But those are
yeah. I'm gonna highlight what they are, and
what
if,
they are,
and
what
if
they
we,
are
if we
right
get,
now.
right, and if we get the question, what are they now, I'll be happy to reply to that, so. So, we have not been spending out of Fund 51, so.
Oh,
In the Horse Hill Fund, I don't think we've expended anything since,
Is it unchanged?
so. Then the budget under community development, that's really Tim's budget, so. If there's questions, I'm sure they'll bring that up there, so. So the sheet is sheet 7, goals for 16 is really the one that I want to make sure that everyone nods their head and says yes to, because I'm kind of saying this is what we plan on doing.
We wanna add add a comment about the town GIS.
Yeah, well, I think I hit that on the next slide,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yep.
You know, where can
Yeah.
the council help?
Yeah.
So. So are we all good with the 12 items on sheet 7?
The website.
Yeah.
Ours are back.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nailed it, page 9 though.
all right. Sheet 8, where can they help? Of course, we want them to say yes every time we bring them another piece of land.
yeah, that's right.
Keep the N underlined too. But it's a
Yes.
big deal, but
Yeah.
The gates.
Or
Yeah, so I covered that on the previous slide. Wasn't sure I needed to,
Okay.
all right?
that would only be if we changed the road designation, right?
But we are. We're gonna go to town with it. We're gonna have them discontinue that portion of the road, so.
So the only thing I have a little bit of issue with, and it's not just the way it sounds, is where they can help is the continued work on the proposed Ned pipeline. It makes it sound like we're trying to support it,
Okay.
you know,
Mm.
and I don't, the third bullet down.
Yeah. So last year I said lead the town in our work on the.
Yeah.
So this time I wanted to change the language a little bit, so, but, I mean, we don't really even have to bring this up.
How about continue to educate the town on the proposed Ned pipeline?
Yeah.
Continue due diligence.
Continue
That-
opposition work on proposed Ned pipeline.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
You want me to take it out?
No, I don't mind it being there, I just,
Yeah.
you know, I just don't wanna make it sound like we're
Yeah.
trying to support it, because nothing at least for me, could be farther from the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think they've actually taken a stand of opposition, just
No.
just opposing the routing.
Due diligence covers it.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Due
sound like,
diligence work and proposed pipeline.
Continued diligence of the proposed Ned pipeline. On?
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
coming
okay.
up with a word.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know.
Should I just take it out
No,
then?
I don't, I think,
It's
I
not a
want
big
people to see it.
deal.
I mean, for
Yeah.
anyone who watches it or is at the town council, they need to, people need to understand what's going on with this thing. And there's a lot of people that have no idea that this, still don't have any idea this is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It needs to be in there.
I've told you guys before, is I have family in Fitzwilliam, and there's people that I know that the pipeline was down, like,
Mm.
gosh, it's coming through this town, it's coming through.
There's
it's coming
signs all over that
through.
area
Yeah,
too.
oh yeah. And this is back this summer, they just, oh, there's, what? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's up in the corner of town, but, right through Rhododendron State Park, it's like, you're kidding me. So, I think there's a lot of people that still don't know
Yeah.
anything about it.
Yeah. Or they know, but it's not affecting them.
Little they don't realize.
I run into it in my own family, so I had quite an education for a lot of the family members, so. This was a few months back now, but, yeah.
Mhm.
No,
So-
I think we should keep it in there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone make sure that we're not towards it.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, I think getting the word work out of there.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to continue to stay informed on the, the pipeline developments or something like that, or some, I don't know, something that makes it sound a
Continue.
little bit more ominous like it is.
Continue monitoring on proposed evil Ned pipeline. Oh, sorry.
Continue with the, no, not continue with.
Nefarious pipeline.
Yeah, that's good.
If you have better wording, let me know. Okay, I struggled for a while, and that's what I came up
Yeah,
with,
I know.
so,
I just,
because I didn't want to lose the Ned pipeline.
just continue to stay informed on the Ned pipeline
Yeah.
developments or something like that. I don't know. It's so angry.
I,
Think about it. I want to keep it in there. Keep it in
Okay.
there as is, unless if we can find a better word, well, let's
yeah, let me know.
But for now,
'Cause
that's what's staying.
My intent is Wednesday to forward the PDF of this to the council, so they'll have it the day before,
Oh.
which I've done previously as well. So, okay. Anything else on those two items?
No.
All right, so, second item under new business is land donation. So this kind of came out of nowhere,
Oh.
except for the fact that it's a parcel that's an item that's been kind of hinted at before, trying to acquire all the parcels along Wabusick Brook. So, are you all familiar with where this parcel is, 6B 159? Do you want to do a quick working session around the map here? I think it might be
Yeah.
worthwhile.
Sure.
So for our minutes taker, we're doing a little quick work session. You can see this, but you might want to come over and take a look at this. So, this- So this is a book that Andy was putting together that highlights a lot of the town parcels and their status. Mike's had a chance to spend time with it as well. But the area of town we're talking about is here. So this is Bean Road. Okay, the landfill is up here, the transfer station, I should say, used to be landfill. This is Patton Road. This is Joppa Road. This is Bedford Road. So this is where the Pete Gagnon's
Farm.
farm his willow trees.
With vineyard trees.
Yeah, so, okay, you know where we're talking?
Mhm.
All right, so what you're gonna see on this map is it's color-coded. All the green items are conservation-owned parcels, all the red items are town-owned parcels or easement areas.
Let's see right here too.
Yeah, so the parcel we're talking about happens to bridge both pages, and it's right here. So this is Babusick Brook coming in. So we own all this land around Babusick Brook leading up to the bridge on Bean Road. This is where we put the easement, we allow the
Oh, right.
easement for the town, okay? So
That's the
then
bridge getting replaced.
Okay.
so it goes under the bridge and now it's back on private parcels all the way through here. And then we pick up another parcel here. We got this parcel because it's at the end of a cul-de-sac when Clara Drive went in. So Clara Sklar, when she put this, or her heirs or whatever, put in the development, this parcel became ours, this one all over here. We had this one was donated to us. This is the one where we've been doing all the invasives work, 10 Brookside.
Yep.
This is 12 Brookside that we've owned. So this is the parcel that's being offered to us for a donation. It's pretty much Babusick Brook all through here.
Nice.
Okay.
And it's surrounded
It's great.
almost.
Yeah, so it abuts us here, completely here, and there is an access coming off of here if we ever wanted it. This is for conservation open space only, it's deeded that way. I would suggest that we have deed
Same.
language that does the same thing here. And so it turns out this was given to, I'll get back on the record, I'll give you more history, so. That's kind of the location. So, right next to it is Watkins Forest, this is town owned. This is Watkins Forest A. B is over here, over by the landfill. So, and this is Mitchell Woods where we are, and Gage is somewhere down
Yeah.
here.
This is where, that's the access point, and that's pretty much where they were talking about drilling that extra well.
The town well.
Yeah, that extra town well for the low water times.
Mhm. Oh, yes, when they came
Yeah.
in, okay.
And so if you could go to, if you walk down this path, you walk in here, we have the leveling device, right in here.
Mhm.
And right down here is where we've had all the problems with that started the Madison Road and all that is right here.
And that spot right there is the Bobcat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just about. That's actually, that picture I showed you,
Yeah.
that picture's from right over here.
This is a big lot.
Wow.
It's a very big lot, yeah. So, there are other parcels along here that we should be considering action on, okay? Okay, to preserve Babusick Brook, which is it is
Protected water source.
protected water source. Yeah. And you can unfold that now. If you wanna, if any of you wanna pour through this book, it hasn't been updated with the last 3 parcels, so, or 4, I should say.
Get a colored pencil?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure Andy still got them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I know, that looks kind of pink to me.
All right. So, the current landowners are our brother and sister. They acquired the parcel from their mother, who got it when originally their parents owned it. Their father passed, and mom moved it down to them. So, growing up, I was told. In fact, I forwarded the letter, I believe, to all of you. And I have a copy of it over here if you all want a copy of it. But Thomas was telling me that, growing up, his father had put a camp down on the parcel, and they used to go down in the summertime, and they would camp out and spend time in the camp. And it was a building, but a camp-style building, and they would swim in the brook and get bloodsuckers on them and everything else, and they'd spend their summers down there and kind of grew up there, and when they grew up and moved out of town, and eventually the parcels changed hands. There is in their deed, it talks about access to Bean Road, but it's so vague that I'm not sure where that access is. It's not recorded on a direct map somewhere, but we own the parcel that's north of it. We have direct access to the road, so I'm not sure that's all that important to us. So, because all the other land has changed hands, and that access goes back to the 50s or something like that. So.
Is there a trail or anything here?
Trail? I don't know. I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah.
It's
Where you
the
look-
At the end of Clara
Sklar.
Drive?
Yeah, Clara Drive. Yeah.
I was just curious. I was just
You
wondering.
can walk in through there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
there's-
would think you
that's-
could.
That's, you can. You can walk, it's not, there was a trail, it started off and then it just kind of peters out, but that's where we
A little bit of
That was
sex
before you
problems.
So, I didn't think it was necessary for us to do a non-public to discuss this. They're looking for us to take the parcel, cover all fees, attorney fees, write up the purchase and sales. They'll come in and sign it. The only expense we have beyond that is they would like us to cover outstanding taxes, which is the December tax bill from last year and anything that's on there now, which equates to somewhere between $230 and $250. So, for 5 acres of land.
That sounds like a no-brainer.
You know,
Yeah.
So we'll have some filing fees and attorney fees. So when we're all said and done, we'll end up spending a couple of $1,000s, and we will have protected a large portion of Babusick Brook.
That's great.
So
$200 for the property, $2,000 for the attorney fees.
it's right.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
I
in
know.
filing fees. Yeah. So what I'm looking for all of you tonight is a motion, and then what I'll do is I'll schedule the public hearing for our next meeting, and we'll move this thing along because it'll have to go through the town council as well.
I'd like to make that motion. Discussion, I guess, a question before I
Sure.
make the motion. Should we put a not to exceed number, or there is no?
Fees.
You can, yeah, you
Do we
can,
need to?
We'll just say fees, I think.
you can if you want to.
Okay.
I mean, if I knew that it was going to end up being more than a couple of $1,000s, I would bring it all back and say, okay, is this okay?
All right.
But it's really up to you.
So a motion to accept the land donation and cover taxes and attorney fees, filing fees,
Title search.
title search, and any other miscellaneous charges that may be involved, not to exceed $10,000.
Second?
Right? Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It passes 5-0-0. Oh, now that we took a vote, I did realize that I forgot to mention that Jody is excused. She's next door doing her other job. So, good. All right, so I will move forward with the public hearing and getting it to the town council once that's over. So the public hearing, of course, will be here with us. So, very nice people when I spoke with them on the phone. Just realized that they really will never do anything more with the parcel and thought it was best to stop paying taxes on it and give it to someone who would be interested and would love to have it. And I told them we would. Yeah, New Hampshire.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
We appreciate it.
Yeah, that's great.
yeah, so,
Nice.
yeah, kind of like how we got the Continental Boulevard one, too. Just family finally came to the point where it was time,
Yeah.
so. All right. Good. So I've got one other item under land donation. I didn't have it on the agenda because it came up rather quickly. I've kind of introduced a little bit to Mike. I want to talk about Chestnut Hill. So the commission had voted that we would accept an easement of the 2 parcels, which equates to about 120 acres that surrounds Chestnut Hill development. Ken Clinton and the engineering team went forward to DES. DES wasn't all that thrilled about the idea of having 72 landowners, and then we have an easement of the land on top of the 72 landowners, and would much rather have had one person own it and then an easement on top. So it was suggested at that time that, the town of Merrimack own it, and the commission has an easement over the top of it as that third party and all that. Our latest negotiation that Mike and I have had was to suggest that we just, commission owns it. no easement, no town of Merrimack, just the commission owns it in fee, which is a little different than the current wetland rules, which usually require someone owning it in a separate entity who has the ability to enforce an easement, or holds an easement on it. So we've suggested, and I wrote a letter to DES, to Lori, and to Richard, who was the wetlands permit owner, and said, or processor, and said, we've done this before on Greater Woods. This is a part of Greater Woods. We're actively managing Greater Woods. We have the funds to do the monitoring and the management. This fits completely with what we've been trying to do. Fits our biodiversity plan for conservation focus areas. It fits the town master plan. It's not like this isn't part of anything else, and we'd like to own it all in fee. And just leave it at that, not have to deal with easements and everything else. So that's what we presented. But what also came back, though, is that this project, because of its wetland impact, has to get approved by EPA. It's part of the process, and the Army Corps of Engineers, they have to agree with the construction that's being done, that the culverts are done the right way and all that. So one of the items that came out of that was that when they were reviewing the project, they were reviewing it with the idea that there was going to be owner and easement. And they said, well, the Conservation Commission should be given a fee, should be given money to do the monitoring, to make sure that the monitoring happens. Because nowadays you have to monitor wetland rules, and that report has to be done annually, like we do with Wasserman. Okay, if DS chooses to impose that, but it is in their rules. So what Chestnut Hill would like us to do is to say the mitigation is only equates to, when you follow the formulas, 5 acres is all that they really have to do for mitigation. But because they're going to give us 120 acres, that we will accept 120 acres and not ask for a fee to do monitoring of land that we're already going to own, because we're basically getting 120 acres for the price of 5 acres. So they would like us to write a letter to Army Corps, EPA, and DS that says we're going to pass on the fee because we have the means to do it, and we're getting so much more for our money than to just get 5 acres and have to deal with it. So, because technically that's all they have to do. They could keep the rest of it for everyone else that lives there. So my question to you is that acceptable? Is that something you want us to continue to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
It seems to make the most sense.
So
Yeah, it'll become part of Greater Woods.
yeah, it does. It becomes part of Greater Woods.
Yeah, I mean, it's supported by our entire mission, growing that CFA and growing it by 120 some odd acres rather than growing it by 5.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. So I will draft that letter and move forward. But I wanted to bring that up with you since you've all taken the votes and done all that, and because of the fact that a relative of mine is involved with this whole thing as well, I wanted to make sure it was completely open and on the table. So
Now, one question.
Yeah.
We're still going to have the oversight of DES, EPA, and Army Corps of Engineers on that wetland crossing?
oversight on doing the crossing.
Yes.
I'm not sure what you're asking me. So they have to buy off on the project plan and agree to the plan.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
that's what they're doing now. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is one of the items that came out of, there was a hit list of 5 items that they wanted, that the Army Corps wanted to be addressed.
So what was the factor that put it beyond the state into the Army Corps?
It's actually part of the whole process. That's part of the review.
Yes.
For once you have a project that has more than 10,000 square feet of impact, it involves all of them.
Okay, so it's just the square footage.
Right, it's the square footage of impact. But 10,000 square feet of impact is not really that big. It's like what is that, about a third of an acre or a quarter of an acre?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, 100 by 100. So an acre is what, 44,000 square feet or something like that? Yeah.
I mean, for one house lot, that would be significant, but for 66.
Yeah. So that's why they're involved. So,
Good question, Mike.
Yeah.
I just was wondering.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so I will move forward with that. So let me just take a couple of notes. All right. Did I copy all of you on the letter to DES? I know you got it. Did it just go to you? Or,
So,
okay. I mean, I'm happy to share all that stuff, so I don't know if you want that.
Is this the, in regards to the negotiation,
for us to take,
what you just
Yeah,
told
what I
us?
just told you.
that's- yeah.
Okay.
I'm all set.
All right, so Mike is getting all that information anyway, so. Okay, so that's it for new business, then takes us to other business. First item is the seedling giveaway.
You guys all get the little, I finally got sent out.
yeah,
I sent that, I couldn't believe Mike sent me back and said, I didn't get the attachment. I'm looking at the one I sent, the attachment's on it. And I'm like, how
the second time I got it.
yeah, well, I did it again, I did the same thing again, so I'm not sure what was going on with, but thank you for telling me that didn't go out.
Did you guys get it the first time?
I didn't even look. I saw the second one that says, now here it is, so, okay. I deleted the first email and said, I got it.
Yeah. No, because I went on the sent one, it's on the sent one, but I didn't, I didn't check my own, I just like, oh yeah, good, it went out. So, all right, so, obviously, looking at just the 2016, I gave you, what I've been doing is just keeping track of what we've been purchasing, so I go back to the 2012, I have back as far as 2012, so we can kind of keep track of the species and what we've been doing. I did meet with Bob McCabe, who's our local, he's the Agricultural Commission Chair in town here, and he's also a certified arborist, so he was going through and we went through and talked about some of the plants that we are, he sees in town that we need, that he likes to have in town. In particular, sugar maples. He was very, very excited about sugar maples. That it's become such a hobby now that people are killing their sugar maples by tapping so many of them and tapping them so consistent. So he said it's really becoming an issue. We're starting to see a lot of die-off and early trees that are much too young to be tapped are getting tapped consistently. Yeah, I know. Europe said we're killing
I
trees.
think global warming is affecting them a little bit too.
He didn't. We didn't talk about that. We talked about just overtapping trees. So
Well, aren't those the ones that are beautiful red, too?
typically, yes, they have some good color.
Yeah, they're just
Yep.
So the price per plant has gone up a little bit on the simple fact that it's cheaper to buy the packages. You'll see that we only have one only proposing one package this year, and if you look to last year, like the American cranberry, were 60 cent. It's $60 for 100, and even this year, if you go and get a cranberry, you can get them for $80 for 100, or $1 for $1 each. So if we went to 100 bushes, it would be a little cheaper, but you'd have that many more bushes, and we still ended up with 20 or so bushes 25 bushes or so last year that we didn't give away. So we're giving away more trees every year, which is good. We were about said around 25 or so last year, so I didn't really feel the need to get up over 400.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
and the value that you see here is what the actual book value is right now. We have John New goes up and picks them up from the nursery, so we do get a discount on the delivery charge, but I don't get that figure until we make the order. So, and last year it was almost $60. So there's some value there. I just don't know what it's going to be this year.
Yeah.
So, if anyone has some suggestions or comments or questions.
Never heard of a 9-bark.
Yeah, we're
I
just
was
looking at
wondering
that,
about
too. Yeah.
So-
Is that a tree?
That was one of the ones I read about. I was like, oh, this sounds really good. And when Bob got back to me, he was all excited about it. So I was all happy with myself. Bar is in here somewhere. Wet to dry soils, partial shade, full dense foliage, good for nesting birds. It's got a very flaky bark, and withstands the deer browse, so it flowers very heavily. So he said it's a very attractive bush. He said a lot of critters can get in there and live in it, and he said it's really healthy for the birds, and it's a great looking plant. So he was very excited about that. And it's a native to this area. So
Yeah, good.
the only one that's not really native to this area directly is the crabtree, but it's one we certainly have so many of them around here. Crabapple trees, but there are a lot of them around here, and he said they're very popular with birds and provide a lot of nutrients for overwintering. So.
Yeah.
But again, if anyone's got some suggestions or wants to see something different, or
Looks good.
Yeah, looks
Yeah.
You
good.
did plenty of due diligence here.
so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten black walnuts in the past, and they've done okay, but they haven't really
Yeah.
taken off.
So I did have a long chat with Bob about this, and he said that he said what we're doing is great, but he really would recommend to people is to be bagging these plants and plant them for a year and let them actually grow. He says because what happens is people take them and they go plant them around their yard, but then they got to drag the hose out to them all the time to get them water. He said plant them in your garden like a tree and bag them or something so you can water them and give them a year to grow,
Yeah.
get healthy, and grab some roots and actually get some dirt around it and thing, and then go plant the whole bag.
Oh,
So we're going to try to maybe do a little bit of write-up for some care for these people that we can hand out.
good.
Well, some of them are matured, right? Some of them are.
Right, but they're bare root seedlings.
You're right.
So
Okay.
they require a lot of water. First couple months, they're going to require a lot of water and a lot of care. And, a lot of them may be dying off. People get them a couple and they plant them right away and then, they water them, but they're gone for a long weekend. And it's a dry, hot weekend and they come back and the thing's just not going to survive. So
Every single thing I've planted from the probably 5 years that I've been, everything survived.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I've lost about half the black walnuts. But the others, they're doing okay now, but, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the ones he said that's one he picked out. He said that's one that really needs to be bagged
Yeah.
and cared for,
Mhm.
watered regularly, let it start to grow,
Mhm.
and then go plant it where its root ball.
I don't know if I've ever seen a mature black walnut.
There used to be a native species. There
There's-
used to be
Yeah.
a lot of them around here.
Yeah.
There's one in Horse Hill.
There's not a lot of them.
When I was a kid, I still remember chestnut trees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
Yeah, well, the American chestnut, I think, is,
Yeah.
one of the chestnuts doesn't grow anymore. They die off too quickly or whatever.
American chestnut.
Yeah.
Crossbred it with Japanese or
China,
chestnut,
yeah.
and then
they're
they're
trying.
slowly trying to breed the Japanese chestnut out so they can replant them.
Yeah,
You want to find black walnuts? It's just walk with John Listoka. Oh, yeah, this one.
Oh,
You drive down there. Oh, this one. You're like, oh, there. He's unbelievable.
He's not. I don't know who he is.
He picks them out like. It's pretty amazing.
could you put them in a pot too?
You can when you overwinter them though. You
Yeah.
need to get them in the ground and get leaf litter or something over them to keep them
Oh,
from
okay.
really freezing out. But yes, you can get them in a pot. The trouble is these are bare root seedlings, so you end up with a root that's sometimes in excess of a foot or so.
Oh, that's true.
And you don't want to
Yeah.
put it in a pot. You want that to be
Okay.
Right.
long. So
Yeah.
you can get. I have pots. I have a website. I get pots that are they're like 16
Long.
inches long, and they're just for seedlings.
Oh, okay.
That's a whole other thing if we want to try to get into all that. Because we could go and get, DPW could go, whoever could get a big load of compost and, we could make a real event out of this, but it's,
Keep it simple.
Yeah, because if it looks too complicated, people are going to get scared off.
well, no,
Yeah.
I'm insisting you could offer that and say, look, here's
If you
Yeah.
take the
prefer.
seedlings, go, or
Yeah.
you can, spend a couple minutes and plant them up and take them and plant them, so.
Yeah.
But that's a lot, that's gonna be a lot of work, and that's also a lot of space for Eber. We have to
Right.
commandeer some space up there, because Eber has volunteered his orchard again to do this.
Mhm.
Great.
I think we're shooting for May 7th, is that the Saturday before Mother's Day, I believe. That sound right?
I want some cranberries.
I'm getting hungry.
That's the Saturday before.
That's the Saturday before?
Yep.
May 7th. And again, I think typically we did it was 9 to 12. So,
All right, so I'll move that we move forward with the proposed seedling giveaway through Gage and the 400 plants that he's recommended.
Second.
You're going to need a check soon.
what I'll do is I do the order form. They trust us because we've been doing this This is the 16th. This is the 16th annual one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is kind of interesting. We've been doing this since 2000. Andy and Eva started this.
That's great.
And Bob a long time ago.
Yeah.
So they're fine with accepting a check. I'll get the order form. They can get the order form in and then decide with the shipping and all that, and then they tell me exactly what it is.
Yeah,
So
okay.
we don't have to end up getting like a $4 check returned.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Right, yeah. Okay,
So,
all right,
but yes, I will be doing that soon.
okay.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes 500. Okay, anything with beaver and water control devices?
No,
Okay,
we've got to get some pictures to. Unfortunately, we got the snowfall, so I can't get some of the pictures that I wanted to off to Mike. But how's I have not been back in Horace Hill. That one location that was having the issue with the snowfall and the ice. It should have kind of.
There's still water still flowing around it. It's
Yeah.
not iced. It's not iced.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Water's still flowing around it.
Get
okay. The trail is still in place, though?
Yeah, it's getting pretty messy now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's pretty icy now, too.
It just can't dry out.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Anything else with beaver or water control devices? No? All right. So in trying to get all our subcommittees and charters and everything in place, it looks like that we forgot to take care of Nat Fairbanks on the Greater Woods parcel. His term originally was going to go to 16, but when we fixed all the dates so that everything was tiered correctly, it was shifted last year to 15 when we got everyone all on the same July and everything else. But we did not take up his reappointment. I believe he's still certainly active.
Yes.
So basically, what I need a motion is that we appoint Nat for a term that expires in 2018.
Make that. I'll move that. So moved.
So second.
All right. So moved by Matt and seconded by Gage. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That passes 500.
Eloquently done.
Yeah.
Now we'll be happy.
All right. Yep. Good. Then we have the parking lot. Really no update on the parking lot. I reached out for Kyle to help with the RFP, but I don't have anything more to report on that, so I think we're okay. We're moving forward with it, so. But I just wanted to bring that up. So the last item I have under other business is the Winter Carnival. This came, actually I'm going to have one other item under other business that's not on here, but also came through Parks and Rec. So the annual Winter Carnival happening at Wasserman Park is scheduled to happen on February the 20th, which is Saturday, which is typically during the school vacation week in February. A number of years we've participated in this. We did not participate last year. Didn't know if there was any desire by the commission members to put that together and participate. Participate usually means we get a little table and put up a few billboards, and talk about what we're doing. In the past, we've included maps of our other parcels and stuff like that, but it's not something I have the time to coordinate and put together myself. So, don't know if any of you do.
It's gonna be tough this year to do that.
Yeah, it's why we need to get more members on the commission.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get around until later in the day, so
Okay.
that would be a great thing to have a map up of the pipeline.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be able to do it.
All
For
right.
educational purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
assign Jody. No.
It doesn't mean that any local group can't
Yeah.
apply
Yeah.
for and become part of this. So if you know of any active local groups that might want to raise awareness of the pipeline, then
Pipeline awareness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, yeah, exactly.
that's, you know, I didn't phrase it that way. I used raise awareness of the pipeline.
We have a Greater Woods Subcom on the 19th this month, right? 19th,
Mhm.
So we may be able to find people to man that from one of the subcommittees.
Right. Well,
There's no reason to
Good idea.
regulate it
Yeah.
just to us. I mean, any of the subcommittees could kind of take the space.
okay. Yeah, I'll let all the subcommittees know, but you have a meeting coming up too in January?
21st.
Yes, yep.
So if you could let them know that if they'd like to have a spot or participate or join potentially another subcommittee.
Okay.
All right. Very recently, Matt Kasparius also sent the email that I forwarded to all of you yesterday. He sent it to me on Friday, that he's trying to make plans for summer programs to offer and wanted to know if we wanted to partner with him. I mean, doing educational things is something that we've been doing. I don't know what partnering means.
Yeah, I was curious myself what that means.
I had one suggestion to that, and that was if each subcommittee did one activity a year, say, there's 3 subcommittees, there'd be 3, and each on their own property.
Yeah.
And just sponsor a walk on the property or something like that.
Yeah, or it could be beaver education, or it could be, any.
So,
It-
I was wondering, would you mind following up with Matt and seeing what he had in mind, toss around some ideas or some thoughts, and then at our next meeting we can talk about it?
I can do that.
Is that something you have time to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that?
But do you guys like that idea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much.
He resides in town hall
Yeah.
the winter months.
During the winter months, yeah.
He hibernates here.
Yeah.
I think the
The office
the
is
building made of paper over there
Yeah.
is not quite set up for winter.
Right.
I mean, that thought occurred to me. I mean, that would kind of, it gives the subcommittees something, they have the interest in that property,
Yeah.
and they can dedicate their resources to educating the kids on that property. And then you have 3 subcommittees, 3 large properties, which are suitable for that kind of a
Mhm.
education.
And his resources give us a little bit more reach, I think, advertising-wise
Yeah.
for those events. So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. All right. So if you don't mind reaching out to Matt and seeing what he was thinking and toss around a few ideas.
Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Mhm.
All right. So that takes care of all the other business I have. Does anyone have anything else under other business? All right. So.
Well, I
Yeah.
can one.
Yeah.
Obviously, so I met with Bob to go over the trees, but I also got a chance to walk the shore, the river with him.
Mhm.
As you guys may remember, there was two embankments that were going to get fixed. There was an A and a B embankment that was going to be fixed. The A portion is done. There's 8 log jams out into the river now, and they extend, good 12 feet or so out from the from the bank. We were down there, it was cold, and you can already see what's working, because those embankments, they stick out into the river, those log jams, they're supposed to slow the water down in that cubby, they're supposed to slow the water down in that little inlet to allow all the solids to fall out. So the river's moving, it was cold. The river's moving, it's iced up. Inside of every channel, it's iced.
Yeah. Wow.
So the water's, fairly still.
Mhm.
And because just on the outside of it, the river's moving, there's no ice on it. So, Bob would invited us all. He said, anytime you guys want to come down and take a look at it, it was icy and slick out there. So it was it was neat to see. And they're all in place. There's just the amount of stuff,
Did you say these?
root balls and things that have been jammed in there. It's amazing.
Hmm.
And it's solid. If you walk out on it, it doesn't move at all.
Are you walking on?
Yeah, I walk right out on it. Yeah, I mean you're 6 or 8 feet wide and 12 feet out, and it's a box of lumber, all crisscrossed and stuffed with stumps and then cabled all up. It's the posts on the end are 30-foot logs, and there's 6 or 8 feet sticking up. I mean they're hammered down.
Mhm.
You said they still have one area to do?
Yeah, so he's done the first corner
Yeah.
and into the cove, and then they're doing that other corner, that far one. You go down there.
The first time there?
Yeah, when we walked up, when you walk down the hill and you're looking at the first embankment, you could look down, and you could see where they put the rock on the far side of the stream, where they put all the hardscape in, and they had lost
Yeah.
that tree from his
Yeah.
property, and lost that tree and gone in. So that second corner is what's going to get done. So that's not done yet. They kind of had to stop now because the ground's, they can't have the machines down there when it's frozen like this. So, but it was it's interesting. It's a very interesting project, and thought they are putting in a lot of lumber.
Mhm.
So it's a pretty massive job. It's neat. It's interesting.
Do we have to contact him, or can we just stop and walk in there?
He'd like an email or voicemail, because they do go down there and hunt. So
Yep.
might be worthwhile just it's private property.
That's right.
But he'd be glad. He's very amenable to meeting anyone down there, walking them, talking about it. So just FYI, the project looks good. It looked interesting.
Yep. Good. All right, so the other item I got one of these. If anyone wants to borrow it before I've had a chance to look at it, you're welcome to. Let's just bring it back to the next meeting. You-
I'll take it. I mean, unless you want to look at it
Nope,
first.
I'm good with that. I got plenty going on,
Okay.
so.
I get those too. I mean, I can take it in and just give it to you guys instead of put it in a recycling basket too. I can just put it in,
Yeah.
and I'll need it back. But, I think I already got rid of that one.
Oh, yeah.
But I can start doing that too.
Okay. All right. Okay, so that takes us to minutes. The minutes of December 21st.
Might as well go first. You catch most 90% of the stuff. So.
And you get stars on it now.
I know. I learned.
Yeah, the little, mark the top of the page.
Yes, I did. Because last time I was like trying to find it. So I move we accept the minutes of December 21st with updates.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Matt. Okay.
And on page 3, row 30, I think at this time, so just replace is with this.
Yep.
On page 4, row 5, just to add the word to, has to pay money towards the end of that sentence.
I'm sorry, say that one again?
Oh, row 5.
Page.
Oh, page 4, sorry. So, like halfway through it says, which means that the developer has to pay money. Just add a 2 in there. And then row 33, same page. For the Manchester Street Bridge project, mitigation is in the form of a wetland restoration project. Replace as with is.
I
Or
kind
you
of
think
thought
it's okay with it is?
I think the way it was worded was good, but
Okay, that's fine then.
That sentence even make sense?
I think that's pretty much what I said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your question is
Well, no, that's so I was trying to make it an active sentence, right? No, but no, we could leave that. Page 6, row 39. I think it just got duplicated there
Yep.
with the at a phone conversation.
Add AD a phone conversation,
Just delete that. Yep.
whole section right there.
Yeah.
And then page 8, row 14. Just need another O in for loops.
Yeah, loops instead of lops. Huh?
Yeah, right, yeah, yeah. And row 33. I guess I wanted to make sure too I understood it, that, that was not hot, when rolled, or was not hot and rolled?
Right, yeah, so
I think it's fine.
it's cold,
Mm-hmm.
it's cold in this spread, it wasn't hot and rolled.
Oh, okay.
Hot, like typical in
So you don't roll it at all?
You
if
can.
it's-
This- it was, I don't believe
but
that-
this
I don't-
wasn't- I
yeah,
mean,
it was spread.
It's
with
not
just-
hot and rolled,
yeah.
okay. Do you just push it on? Okay.
Spread.
And then row 50, I didn't know if we needed like a name
Yeah, I
in
stated
front of
that.
that.
So it really should say Chairman Tenhave stated the draft includes
Okay.
the amendment requested. Yeah.
And page 9, row 35. And I think that Jody just asked why this idea has come up. We could just say now. Because the Stoddard Conservation Commission, was responding to it. But I think Jody was asking why has this issue come up now?
Okay, so
Makes sense.
why this has now come up? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what she was asking. Page 10, row 54. Just a greater word subcommittee.
Yeah.
Spelling.
So SIB is sub, huh?
Yes, yeah, yes, it was sub. Page 11, row 14. I just didn't know if that, is Mike McCoy with GZA?
Who's Mike McCoy?
Okay, that's what, yeah, I didn't.
So, Mike Callahan is with Beaver Solutions.
Okay.
And that was probably, I'm assuming, seeing that we're talking about Beaver, I'm assuming the Mike that I was referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that should be Mike Callahan.
And he's not with GZA then.
He's not with GZA, he's with Beaver Solutions.
Okay. Yep, Don was trying to be diligent. She
Yeah.
usually gets it all right. So
Yep, that's all that I had, and yeah, I just wanted to say, she really does a great job. She even put a link in, she found the link to the Bobcat
Yep.
petition. Yeah, and put that in. So I was like, ooh, very impressive. So yes, I appreciate everything she does.
Save the bobcat.
Yes. So if anybody wants to sign the petition, they can go to our minutes and get the link.
All right, I got, going back to page 1, line 27. I believe that should say, which includes some old harmless language. Hold harmless language.
No?
Hold instead of hold.
Well, isn't hold harmless a term?
It is a term.
Oh, okay.
I
so
think it is
okay,
too.
so it-
Yeah.
Oh, some, okay, all right, so.
Yeah.
all right,
Okay,
So that's
hold 'em
almost like a
harmless.
hyphenated word like there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Actually, it took me a while to read that, to figure what you were trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay, and on page 5, line 2. First, let's see. Were we trying to quote somebody in that? New Hampshire DES was involved before the purchase and sale was signed to say, quote, yes, if you get a purchase and sales with these sort of covenants, the deed, we will be interested in having that cover that, end quote.
Yeah.
Can-
Well, it's not an exact quote.
No, it's not an exact quote, I know,
Yeah.
but it took me a while to figure out what we were, because
Yes.
if we don't do something there, that whole paragraph is one sentence. It's, I guess you could read it a couple times and get through it, but it took me a couple times to read it to get through it, so.
Yeah, it's almost like it should say New Hampshire DES was involved before the purchase and sales was signed, comma, or
Yeah, and paraphrasing, yeah, and
Just-
that's some kind of paraphrase.
to say if you get the purchase and sales with these sorts of covenants in the deed, we would be interested. I think that's about what I said, but you're right, it's kind of long.
Yeah,
I don't know how,
yeah, I was trying to figure out where to break
Right.
it up and make it
yeah,
make sense, so. If we
Yeah.
all understand what it means, that's fine. If Dawn feels that she can add some special quotations in there or something that
yeah.
makes it a legal document for us, legal minutes there, then not,
Yeah, I just kind of left it as what it was, so I was babbling anyways.
No.
And then, yeah, we got the calendar, yeah. Page 10, line 47. The subcommittee is going to contact the Public Works Department regarding this route. We've not had a meeting to do that yet, so they're not waiting. I don't want anyone thinking that we're waiting on the Public Works Department.
Okay,
We're going to contact them. They have nothing. They're not behind.
Okay.
And on page 11, line 25. I'm wondering if Mr. McCoy
Oh.
There's an extra Mr. McCoy from,
I'm not sure who you were out there walking.
Mike, right? Wasn't it Mike?
yeah,
you're Mr. McCoy.
yeah.
The
So-
real McCoy.
Yeah.
So it should say that he and Mike,
Boy,
Are
or
now
Commissioner Bover, yeah.
Are now 20 feet high in a tree. Maybe that should be.
yeah, 20 feet up in the tree, yeah, 20 feet in a tree, yeah. Or 20 feet up in a tree, so we
20 feet high.
126, will I add up to after 20?
Yeah.
And Commissioner Boyer takes the place of Mr.
Mr.
McCoy.
McCoy, yeah. Oops.
And that's all I have.
I've got a couple others. Guess working our way back on page 9, line 24. Rescinding the ban on hunting, not hounding. Hounding should be hunting.
Nope, I
Yeah,
believe
is
they.
that what
They said
you said? Did you say hounding?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, all right. Good for me. Up above, line 7, it shows January 25th of the next meeting date.
Oh, yes, which I did say January 25th, but
You did.
you're right, but it is.
It is the 21st.
I thought it was the 25th, yeah.
Okay, all right.
It is
No,
so
then-
you're right, we should have it.
Well, what you
No.
said is what you said, so
Oh,
we'll leave
okay.
it, okay? Yep, that's fine. Then going back to page 8, line 27, with the reground asphalt, comma, lines, that should be plural, could be added.
Mhm.
I think that's what Matt was getting at. So. Back to page 4, line 58. Along the process, would it have to be? I added the word "it" in there. How far along the process would it? Yeah. So between would and have should be the word "it." Would it have to be?
Mm.
Does that sound good to everyone? I can't read my note on line 3.
It's up the same page?
No, page 3, the first line. It was noted by the owners of the properties. Yeah. Oh, I think it was. Oh, I know what it is. It should say. So this is page 3, line 1. Sentence says it was noted by the. And it should say the previous owners of the property that there was quite a bird population on the property. I believe I said previous owners.
Yeah.
So. I think that's it. So. Anyone have anything else? Right, all those in favor as amended signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions, that passes 5-0-0. So that takes us to public comment. The public has moved on. Commissioner comments? Mike, anything?
No comments?
Okay. Cindy?
Just to reiterate that the next Horse Hill Nature Preserve meeting is Thursday, January 21st, in this room at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Speaking of the Bobcat, the public hearing has been set for Monday, February 1st at 6 o'clock in Representatives Hall at the State House in Concord. You can go and testify. You can go and just sign in, whether you're for or against the proposal. You can also send written comments. Those must be received by February 10th. Send those to comments@wildlife.nh.gov. And you can put Bobcat in the subject line. And again, just state, your opinion on the proposal. That's
Okay.
it.
Matt?
The next Greater Woods meeting is next Tuesday, the 19th. It is at 6:30, and it's downstairs in the Community Development Meeting Room.
Okay.
That's it.
Gage?
I'm good.
All right. No, I've got nothing further. Happy New Year, all that good stuff.
Motion to adjourn?
Yep.
Second.
All right. Moved by Matt, seconded by Cindy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That passes 5-0-0 at 9:01 p.m.
Call from Town Council Chair Nancy Harrington on Saturday morning to let me know that Kinder Morgan was discussing the surveying and to give us a heads up that we would most likely be contacted